The great human split has begun. Nostradamus warned about the awakened and the lost. They say humanity's greatest turning point wouldn't begin with a bang but a quiet inner tremor. At first, you might not even notice, but pause for a moment. Feel the tension in your relationships. Sense the growing divide in our values, in our choices. Something subtle, yet undeniable, is beginning. We live in an age of hyperconnection, and yet many of us feel more lost than ever. Ancient prophecies, including those from Nostradamus, spoke of a time when humanity would split not by borders or beliefs, but by awareness. A quiet awakening would stir in some, while others sink deeper into forgetfulness. This isn't about predicting the end, it's about recognizing what's already unfolding, a spiritual separation, a path of light and a path of illusion. Before the divide grows too wide to cross, take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to The Journey of Wisdom, because the truths we explore here may awaken something deep within you. And once you begin to see, you can't unsee. The question isn't whether the great split is real. It's already here. The only question is, which path are you walking? The awakened or the lost? Number 1. Nostradamus's prophecy, the spiritual schism. In the cryptic quatrains of Nostradamus, especially the 41st of century VIII, we find a curious whisper from the past that seems to echo louder with each passing day. The great multitude will awaken, one part driven to light, one to blackened waters. Not all who see will see, and not all who sleep will stay asleep. While easily brushed aside as poetic abstraction, these words speak of a profound inner split not among nations or tribes, but within the very soul of humanity. Unlike the dramatic prophecies of fire and war that capture public imagination, this is a prophecy of perception, a divergence that occurs silently and invisibly. What mystics have always known, and what more people are beginning to sense, is that we are now living through a metaphysical shift. It's not that we're heading towards some sudden cataclysm. Rather, we're already in the middle of a subtle spiritual turning where the human experience begins to divide not by geography or belief, but by vibration and awareness. In Buddhist thought, this is akin to the idea of samsara, a cycle of distraction and illusion, and its opposite, nirvana, which lies hidden in plain sight for those with the eyes to see. As the Buddha once said, all that we are is the result of what we have thought. The mind is everything. What we think, we become. This spiritual schism Nostradamus alluded to can be felt today in the quiet unrest within many hearts. The sense that life has become too loud, too shallow, too fast. This is the true battlefield, not one of weapons, but of attention. While some begin to notice signs patterns repeating, a surge of intuition, or a gentle pulling away from toxic cycles, others rush further into distraction, seeking comfort in more media, more consumerism, more conflict. It's no accident. The split begins not with a bang, but with a choice, thousands of tiny, daily choices that either elevate or obscure the truth within us. In this way, the ancient prophecy is not a warning of doom, but a reflection of human potential, that some will awaken not because they are better, but because they are ready. This mirrors the Buddhist notion of Bodhi, awakening not as a destination, but as a gradual, compassionate unfolding, like a lotus rising through the mud. As we step into our daily routines, many of us can feel the weight of this decision pressing ever more clearly, whether to stay numb to the signals or respond to the call of clarity. And what does it mean to be awakened in modern life? It's not about escaping society or claiming superiority. It's about recognizing the sacred in the ordinary, choosing peace over performance, connection over consumption. The awakened begin to question systems that once felt unshakable. Why do we live this way? Who benefits from our disconnection? Why does more never feel like enough? They start simplifying, noticing the natural world again, cultivating stillness in a world that prizes noise. They see dreams with more clarity and feel truths without proof. This is not magic, it is mindfulness. And mindfulness, the heart of Buddhist practice, is not merely awareness, but loving, discerning awareness. As Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh said, "The present moment is filled with joy and happiness. If you are attentive, you will see it. Yet those who remain lost are not evil, nor hopeless, they are simply entangled, like fish caught in a net of distraction, unaware that the ocean is much larger than the screen in front of them." Nostradamus' own way wasn't foretelling a future carved in stone, but pointing toward a choicer path of awakening that requires courage, patience, and compassion. The metaphor of two trains silently veering apart is haunting because it is true. As our inner lives split, our outer worlds follow. And the tragedy is not that people are lost, but that they do not know they're drifting. So the advice now is simple, though not always easy. Pay attention to what brings you peace, honor what deepens your sense of meaning, and gently let go of what numbs your spirit. Ask yourself often, am I feeding my soul or just filling time? Because even though the world appears the same on the surface, our responses to it determine everything. And the great human split is not a punishment, it's a mirror, revealing who we've become and offering, still, a chance to choose differently. Number 2. The Lost and the Awakened, Humanity's Great Divide. Let's take a moment to look at the world around us. Have you noticed a growing divide not just between nations or beliefs, but between ways of seeing life itself? Many ancient seers, including the famous Nostradamus, spoke of a time when humanity would begin to split not in body, but in soul, in consciousness. He warned of two paths emerging, those who awaken and those who remain lost. Now, we are living in that moment. But what does this truly mean for you and me? You may wonder, who are the lost? It would be simple to label them as those who deny what is happening, who mock deeper truths, who cling to systems that no longer serve us. But this is not a question of good or evil. The lost are not villains. They are people caught in a transier sleep, not of their own making. For generations, a subtle spell has been cast across humanity. Through education designed to teach conformity, entertainment that numbs the mind, technologies that steal attention, and desires carefully engineered by forces we rarely see, the masses have been lulled into a dream that is not their own. They live believing they are free, yet remain unaware of the deeper layers of reality. Nostradamus captured this haunting image perfectly when he described these individuals as having eyes wide open, but pupils clouded like smoked glass. They can see the surface of things, but cannot perceive what lies beneath. Have you noticed this around you? On the other side of this great split are the awakened, the sentinels of a new understanding. They experience life differently. Perhaps you feel this too, an unshakable sense that something is not as it seems, even if you cannot fully explain it. You sense invisible threads connecting events, ideas, and people. You feel the stirrings of ancient wisdom within, as if your spirit remembers truths that the world has forgotten. At times, this knowing can be heavier burden carried quietly, because others may not understand. You may be both inspired and unsettled by visions of where humanity could go, if only more people would wake up. Yet, here's a deeper truth. Awakening is not a choice. For many, it begins as a subtle call, soft at first, but growing louder, until it can no longer be ignored. Often, it arrives at the most unexpected moments, pulling you from comfort into a new way of seeing. But be prepared. The path of awakening is not easy. It can be lonely, for you will see illusions where others see normality. You will encounter resistance, not just from society, but from within yourself, as old patterns beg you to return to the familiar. This is why many awakened souls feel isolated. But hear this, you are not alone. Every day, more people are hearing the same call. Are you one of them? What has your journey been like so far? Nostradamus's warning was not meant to create fear, but to prepare us. We are witnessing a silent battle not fought with weapons, but within hearts and minds. And in this battle, compassion matters deeply. The lost are not our enemies, they are us before we awakened. They deserve patience, understanding, and a hand when they are ready to see. Likewise, those who are awakening need each other, for we are not meant to walk this path alone. So what lesson can we carry from this? First, stay mindful. Recognize the systems designed to dull your awareness and choose, moment by moment, to remain present. Second, nurture compassion for both yourself and others. Awakening is a process, not a destination. And third, seek connection. The journey is lighter when shared. If this message resonates with you, take a moment to reflect. Where are you on this path? What steps can you take today to deepen your awareness and help light the way for others? Remember, the future is not written in stone. Together, the awakened can shape it with wisdom, courage, and heart. Number 3. The spiritual sickness of the modern age. Now, let's turn to something many of us can feel but struggle to name, what some call the frequency warped spiritual sickness of the modern age. You see, we often hear about information overload, endless digital distractions, the rising tide of mental health challenges. But let me ask you, have you ever wondered if these are more than just modern problems? What if they are symptoms of something deeper, something ancient stirring beneath the surface of our fast-paced world? Nostradamus may have seen this coming long ago. In his cryptic writings, he spoke of metal tongues and spheres that sing across the void. Some believe he was alluding to the invisible waves that now fill our air, electromagnetic frequencies that subtly shape our minds and emotions. Could it be that we are not only facing a battle of ideas, but also a battle of vibrations? The split in humanity that many feel today is not just ideological or political, it is vibrational. There is a widening gap between those who are awakening and those who remain lost. For the awakened, life begins to take on a different texture. Silence is no longer empty but full of wisdom. Intuition, once dismissed, now guides their choices like a true compass. They find that truth carries a vibration, a resonance that cannot be imitated or distorted. Yet, for those still caught in the lower frequencies of fear, scarcity, and manipulation, life becomes a fog. Their minds are flooded with noise, not just from the outside world, but from within, droning out the subtle voice of their own soul. Have you noticed how much harder it is these days to simply sit in silence, to listen deeply to yourself? Nostradamus warned us with haunting words, "When the music of the sky turns sour, beware the binding of the spirit." This speaks to a more profound danger, a time when the very fabric of truth and goodness is inverted. And isn't that what we see? He wrote of an era when the beast shall wear robes of virtue, and the wise shall be dressed as fools. Look around. Who do we celebrate? Who do we elevate? In many ways, the inversion is already here. We witness a world where truth-tellers are punished, where those who deceive and manipulate are rewarded. This isn't merely corruption. It is a kind of collective spell, a ritual of disorientation in which society willingly participates. For the awakened, this inversion feels deeply unsettling, like moving through a dream where nothing aligns with what they know to be true. But for the lost, it has become the new normal. They drink from poisoned wells, mistaking the bitterness for sweetness. The Buddha once said, "3 things cannot be long hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth." Yet in these times, it can feel as if truth itself has been buried beneath layers of illusion. Nostradamus offered a cryptic key. Only those who have pierced the mirror with fire will see clearly during the time of inversion. Fire, in ancient teachings, symbolizes purification. It is through challenge, loss, and inner transformation that the awakened are forged. They are being burned, not destroyed, but remade. And through this painful yet vital process, they prepare to enter a reality the lost cannot perceive. So I ask you, where do you find yourself in this unfolding story? Are you attuning to higher frequencies, seeking clarity and truth? Or do you feel the pull of the static, the constant noise designed to keep you asleep? Reflect deeply on this. As the Dhammapada reminds us, as a solid rock is not shaken by the wind, so the wise are not moved by praise or blame. In these turbulent times, may you stand as that solid rock, listening to the quiet song of your own awakened heart. If you've watched this far, you're already part of the awakening in this great human split. Comment below with "Awakened Journey" to affirm your path toward clarity and understanding. Stay with us, there's so much more wisdom ahead that can help you navigate these transformative times. Don't miss what's coming next. Number 4. The false awakening when light becomes a trap. In one of his lesser-known verses, Nostradamus spoke of a false dawn, a deceptive light that warms no one. He warned of an era when many would chase after what seemed like enlightenment, only to find themselves blinded and lost. This false dawn is not merely a poetic image, it is a reality that we can observe all around us today. We live in a time when the hunger for spiritual growth is stronger than ever, yet so is the market for quick fixes, hollow teachings, and movements that promise awakening but deliver confusion. Social media brims with influencers preaching pseudo-wisdom, products claim to raise your vibration, and certain groups offer community and meaning, yet subtly encourage dependency and conformity. What we are seeing is not the genuine flowering of consciousness, but a clever mimicry industry that exploits the longing of the human soul and channels it into forms that feel safe, comfortable, and controllable, never truly challenging the deeper systems of power or fostering authentic inner transformation. It is in this climate that we must tread carefully. The path of awakening is not paved with easy answers or comforting illusions. Nostradamus foresaw that the false dawn would be seductive precisely because it offers what we naturally seek: comfort instead of truth, entertainment instead of depth, distraction instead of transformation. Many well-intentioned people fall into this trap because it is easier to follow a charismatic leader, buy into a fashionable movement, or adopt spiritual jargon than it is to face the raw uncertainties of genuine inner work. True awakening is often a solitary journey. It asks us to confront our own shadows, to endure long periods of silence and doubt, to peel away the layers of conditioning without any guarantee of reward or recognition. And because this path can feel lonely and uncertain, the siren call of the false light becomes even more tempting. Nostradamus, with his timeless insight, understood the risks that face those on the edge of awakening. He warned that in such times, unity without fire shall divide the earth. This phrase is profound. The unity he speaks of is not genuine harmony born from compassion and understanding, but a forced uniformity, flattening of human spirit disguised as peace. We can see this reflected in modern movements that preach tolerance but silence dissent, that advocate for collective well-being but suppress individual growth, that celebrate sameness rather than honoring the rich diversity of human experience. When unity lacks the transformative fire of authentic spiritual insight, it becomes a tool of control rather than liberation. People become lulled into passivity, mistaking surface-level agreement for true connection, and in doing so, they drift further from their own inner wisdom. For those of us navigating these challenging times, it is essential to cultivate discernment. Not every light is worth following. Not every movement serves the highest good. We must learn to recognize when we are being offered comfort at the expense of truth or community that demands we surrender our authentic voice. The genuine path of awakening may feel uncomfortable, but it is in this discomfort that we grow. It is in questioning, reflecting, and sometimes walking alone that we come to know ourselves more deeply. In today's world, where information and misinformation swirl together in a constant stream, the ability to pause, to turn inward, and to trust one's own inner compass is more vital than ever. So as we witness what some call the great human split, a divergence between those awakening to deeper truths and those becoming further entangled in illusion, we must remember that the choice is ours. Each day offers us the opportunity to choose depth over distraction, authenticity over imitation, courage over comfort. The teachings of the wise, whether from ancient prophets like Nostradamus or the timeless insights of Buddhist philosophy, remind us that the path to true awakening is not about following external lights, but about kindling an inner fire that cannot be extinguished by the shifting winds of the world. Stay mindful, stay compassionate, and above all, stay connected to the quiet voice within that seeks truth beyond appearances. Number 5. Have you noticed the split in perception? Have you noticed how more and more people seem to be living in entirely different worlds, even when they share the same space and witness the same events? Two individuals can watch the same news broadcast, hear the same words, yet come away with entirely opposite understandings. One sees deceit and manipulation, while the other perceives hope and salvation. This widening gap in perception is not mere coincidence. It reflects a deeper transformation underway within human consciousness. As the Earth's vibrational energy subtly rises, timelines, those invisible currents shaping our reality, begin to diverge more clearly. The ancient seer Nostradamus hinted at this very phenomenon when he wrote, "The world shall be one, yet seen as two, one through shadow, one through flame." It is as though we are all tuning into different frequencies of the same great cosmic broadcast. Those who are awakening now begin to experience reality as something fluid and interactive, no longer fixed and absolute. They see that life unfolds in layers. They sense the impermanence of what once seemed solid. Time itself begins to feel elastic. Memories of potential futures arise unbidden, guiding choices in the present moment. This is not fantasy, but a glimpse into the multidimensional nature of existence, where thought and intention quietly shape the unfolding of events. Meanwhile, those still bound to external authorities and conventional narratives remain immersed in a version of reality that demands obedience and conformity. Their world is ruled by fear and control, while the awakened learn to navigate a parallel stream of existence founded on trust, awareness, and inner freedom. It is important to understand that neither group is inherently good or bad. This is not a battle of light versus dark, but a natural phase of spiritual evolution. As the old structures of society strain and falter, new ways of seeing and being emerge. Yet this process can be unsettling. Many of you may have felt moments where your sense of reality no longer aligns with that of your family, friends, or community. You may feel like a stranger in your own world, quietly walking among those who cannot see what you see. This is a lonely path at times, but it is also a signpost of progress. The Buddha once taught, "The mind is everything, what you think you become." This wisdom reminds us that cultivating clarity, compassion, and inner peace is the key to navigating these shifting times. In our modern lives, this great human split can be witnessed everywhere: in politics, in media, in conversations at the dinner table. Instead of arguing or trying to convince others, it is wiser to embody the qualities you wish to see. patience, understanding, and a calm heart. Practice mindfulness and compassion daily, for these are the tools that will keep you steady amid the turbulence. Know that awakening is a deeply personal journey. Do not rush it, and do not despair for those who walk a different path. As the veils between these realities continue to thin, the opportunity for deeper connection and shared understanding will grow. Until then, trust your intuition, nurture your inner wisdom, and walk gently upon the earth. Number 6. All great shifts come with a shedding. Let's take a moment to reflect on something truly profound. Every great transformation in human history comes with a sheddinga, letting go of what no longer serves us. Nostradamus, the famed seer, spoke of this moment in ways that resonate deeply today. He didn't predict an apocalypse in the way Hollywood might show us, with fire and brimstone, but rather a great revealing, a peeling away of the illusions that have kept humanity trapped in false beliefs and outdated systems. He foresaw cities trembling, not simply from physical decay, but from the collapse of the illusions that built them. He saw institutions dissolving, not because the world was ending, but because the structures themselves could no longer support the frequency of the new world that is rising. And now, we are witnessing this very split. You might be asking yourself, what is this split really about? It is the division between those who cling desperately to the old ways and those who are waking up to a greater truth, a higher way of being. Now, as this shift gains momentum, fear will undoubtedly take hold for many. You'll see people grasping tightly to what feels safe, even as those things fall apart before their eyes. They will resist change, hoping to restore what was, unaware that the past cannot return in the same form. But for those of you who are awakening, those who are beginning to sense that something deeper is happening, know this. The collapse you are witnessing is not the end, it is a beginning. Think of it as the forest fire that clears the way for new life, or the storm that washes the air clean. Through chaos, the false is being dismantled so that the true can finally emerge. Can you feel this happening within yourself? Are there parts of your life-old habits, outdated beliefs, toxic relationships that you are now being called to release? Economies may falter, and power structures may flip upside down. Secrets long buried are already bubbling to the surface. For those who are still aligned with the illusions of the old world, this will feel terrifying, like watching everything familiar slip away. But for those walking the path of awakening, it is liberation. You might already sense that beneath the noise, a new clarity is arising. Nostradamus spoke of the eagle shedding its feathers so it could soar higher than ever before. That eagle is not some distant symbol, it is us. Each one of us now faces the choice. Will we cling to what is crumbling, or will we surrender to the unfolding of something greater? And so, I ask you, where do you stand in this great split? Are you prepared to let go of the old and step into the unknown with trust and courage? Because the journey ahead requires both. But remember this, on the other side of the shedding lies a freedom and a clarity beyond what we can yet imagine. Stay open, stay present, and know that you are not walking this path alone. You've come this far because you feel the shift happening around us. Comment, "I choose awakening" below to declare your stand in this great divide. Stay tuned, what's coming next may open your eyes in ways you never expected. Number 7. Children of the Second Dawn. Let's talk about something that many sense but few dare to say out loud: the children of the second dawn. Have you noticed certain children who just seem different? Not in a negative way, but in a way that is almost unexplainable. They carry a depth in their eyes, an ancient knowing that doesn't quite fit their young faces. They seem to feel more, see more, and often speak of things beyond their years' memories, insights, and wisdom that could not possibly have come from this life alone. Nostradamus referred to them as the seeds of the second dawn. He foresaw that after a time of great confusion, a period not unlike what we are living through, now a new generation would rise. This generation, he said, would have the rare ability to walk between two worlds, the fractured, chaotic world they were born into, and a hidden world of harmony and potential that they are here to help rebuild. Think about that for a moment, thou. Might it feel to carry such a purpose in a world that often rejects what it cannot explain? Sadly, many of these children suffer in silence. They are often misunderstood, misdiagnosed, and even labeled as problems by institutions that rely too heavily on outdated ways of thinking. The systems designed to nurture them instead stifle them, because these systems fear what they do not understand. But those who are awakened, you and I, if we choose to open our eyes no better, we can see the signs, the sensitivity, the empathy, the unusual insights, the longing for something more meaningful. These children are not broken. They are here to be the bridge between the old and the new. They are not here to fit in. They are here to transform, and their time is now. Many of these children are awakening much faster than previous generations. They carry a natural resilience and a deep inner compass that can guide them through the noise of this changing world. But awakening alone is not enough. They need guidance. They need protection. They need us, those who recognize their light, to stand beside them and help them claim the power they were born with. And if you are one of these children, or if you suspect you might be, understand this. Your sensitivity is not a weakness. It is your strength. Your ability to see through illusions is a gift. The path ahead will not always be easy, but it is yours to walk, and the world needs you to walk it boldly. As humanity continues to split between the awakened and the lost, these children and those who walk with them will become the bridge between what was and what must be. They remind us that even in times of great darkness, seeds of new light are always being planted. So ask yourself, what role will I play in this great shift? Will I be one of those who nurtures the new dawn, or one who clings to the shadows of the past? The choice, as always, is yours. And here is the lesson I hope you carry with you today. When you encounter someone, child or adult, who does not quite fit, do not be so quick to judge. Instead, look deeper. Offer kindness, understanding, and support. The future of our world may very well depend on how we treat those who are here to lead us toward the light. The great split is upon us. Let us choose the path of wisdom, compassion, and awakening. Number 8. Silent Guardians. Throughout time, there have always been those who quietly stand watch, not seeking power or fame, but guided by a deeper purpose. Nostradamus spoke of such figures, those of the third eye, individuals who wear no crown, yet are marked by an inner light. They walk among us unseen, not because they hide, but because their true work lies beneath the surface. They are not the ones you find on magazine covers or political stages. They might be a healer offering comfort, an artist whose work stirs your soul, a hacker protecting the flow of truth, a traveler whose kindness lingers long after they've moved on, or a stranger whose brief encounter stays with you for life. They are, in essence, silent guardians. Their role is not to save the world in grand gestures, but to ensure that the path of awakening remains open. You see, not everyone is ready to awaken, and some may even drift further into the fog of confusion. Yet the guardian's task is to keep the gateways visible, so when someone is ready to see, the path is there. And here lies the deeper truth. Awakening is not an escape. It is a call to responsibility. Once you begin to see clearly, your purpose is no longer just your own growth. It is to become a light for others. This is the most challenging part of the journey, not rising above and leaving others behind, but reaching back with compassion and courage. Nostradamus left us this thought: The sun shall rise through the eyes of the few, and through them warm the eyes of the many. If these words stir something within you, perhaps you too are called to be one of these guardians. This is not about perfection, it is about presence. Can you be the voice of clarity amid the noise? Can you hold space for someone else's growth without judgment? The world today is full of distractions and division, but your steady light, no matter how small, can help illuminate the way for those still searching. Now, ask yourself, how have you held the door open for others? Have there been moments when your words, actions, or simple presence offered someone a glimpse of a better path? Reflect on this, and if you feel moved, share your experience below. Remember, even the smallest light can guide someone through the darkness. In the end, this is the heart of the message. We awaken not for ourselves alone, but so that we may help awaken the world. Let us walk this path with kindness, courage, and an unwavering commitment to be of service. That is the true calling of the silent guardians. Number 9. Breaking the illusion of loneliness. Now, let's talk about something that affects so many of us more than we realize: the illusion of loneliness. You see, throughout history, great minds have warned us about subtle traps of the human experience, and Nostradamus himself foresaw one of the most dangerous deceptions of all. In times of great change, he said, the most cunning lie wouldn't be about governments or wars or even technology, it would be about the soul. The lie would be this: you are alone. And that belief, my friend, is the final and most powerful trap. Why? Because when we think we're isolated, cut off from others, abandoned in a world that seems cold and unfamiliar, we lose hope, we retreat, we fall silent. And in that silence, the true battle is lost. But here's the truth: you are never truly alone. Right now, across this world, countless awakened soulspeople just like you are experiencing the same doubts, the same feelings of separation. They may be scattered, yes, but they are connected by something deeper than physical distance. There is an invisible field that binds USA network of thought, of compassion, of intention. And when you tune into that, when you speak your truth and reach out to others, something incredible happens. That network lights up. You begin to find one another. You start to remember that awakening is not a solitary path, it's a shared journey. So let me ask you this: who in your life might be waiting for your voice? Who around you could be silently struggling, thinking they are alone, just like you once did? Reach out, speak your truth, share your journey, because in doing so, you don't just free yourself, you help dissolve this illusion for others as well. And that, my friend, is how the great human split begins to heal. Number 10. Two Earths, the final split. Now we arrive at the heart of this ancient warning, a moment that countless mystics, seers, and wise ones have hinted at through the ages, a moment that Nostradamus himself spoke of in cryptic but potent terms. He spoke of two Earths, and while this might sound like a dramatic vision of physical worlds splitting apart, its true meaning lies not in outer geography, but in the inner landscape of human experience. Today, in this very era of rapid change and rising uncertainty, this great split is unfolding all around us, though many may not yet see it clearly. One Earth is becoming a place dominated by fear, by increasing control, and by an artificial, disconnected way of life, where technology overwhelms presence, where the soul is numbed by constant noise, distraction, and the endless chase for external validation. The other Earth, however, is opening like a flower toward light, toward resonance with higher truths, toward remembrance of who we truly are beneath the layers of conditioning, toward communities that value authenticity, wisdom, and heart-centered living. But here's the profound truth: this split is not happening with a ballot or a grand ritual. No one will tell you the moment when you cross from one path to the other. It is subtle, woven into your daily life, shaped by your intentions, your energy, and the choices you make when no one is watching. Each of us is choosing moment by moment through our vibration. Are we moving toward clarity, healing, sovereignty, and deeper connection to life, or are we surrendering to comfort, convenience, and the illusions that promise ease but breed emptiness? The awakened, those who cultivate mindfulness, compassion, courage, and inner peace will naturally align with the earth that reflects their inner clarity and light. Those who remain entangled in fear, denial, and distraction will find themselves deeper within the earth that mirrors confusion and separation. In modern life, this choice is more relevant than ever, as we are constantly bombarded with noise that pulls us away from our true nature. Therefore, I encourage you to cultivate awareness in small, consistent ways. Through mindful breathing, conscious relationships, questioning the narratives you consume, and honoring your intuitive wisdom. Know that your choices ripple outward, shaping not only your own path but the collective experience of our world. In this time of great transition, let us walk the path that honors life, wisdom, and compassion, so that we may help birth an earth where humanity remembers its light. As we've explored today, the great human split is not some distant prophecy. It is happening here and now, within each of us and all around us. The choice to awaken is not always easy, but it is always ours to make. In this time of uncertainty and change, may we choose the path of mindfulness, compassion, and inner clarity, not only for ourselves, but for the well-being of all beings. If this message resonates with you, I invite you to support our growing community. Please like this video, share it with those who may benefit, and subscribe to The Journey of Wisdom. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you won't miss any of our upcoming explorations into timeless wisdom and the path of awakening. Remember, even in the midst of the great split, a single light can guide many. Let us walk this journey together.